How come multiple whistleblowers have said that your administration told them not to say anything about widespread fraud across multiple agencies because doing so would be considered racist or Islamophobic?
Imagine trying to report fraud while also being afraid to be called racist. Gill brought these whistleblower claims directly to Tim Walz here, and then he asked him about it.
Governor Walz, are you familiar with the early intensive developmental and behavioral intervention benefit?
I am, Congressman.
Got it. It provides services for autism patients. Is that right?
That is correct.
Got it. And when did you become governor?
In January of 2019.
In 2019. Okay. So,
Bro, is he wearing a Somali flag?
Using 2018 as a baseline, do you know what that program paid in Medicaid claims?
I do not, Congressman.
It's about $671,000. Do you know what that program paid in Medicaid claims in 2024?
I don't have the number in front of me.
$342 million. That's about a 500x increase over 6 years. Was there 500 times the number of autism patients in that time period?
I couldn't speak specifically to it, but I will say, Congressman, that
doesn't sound reasonable, right? You don't think there was a 500x increase in the number of autism patients in 6 years, right?
Correct, and that's why we ordered on-site visits starting back in 2024.
So we agree that doesn't sound reasonable. Would you also agree that a single taxpayer dollar wasted on fraud is a dollar too much to tolerate?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yep. 10 cents.
And would you agree that as governor, ultimately you're responsible if tax dollars are defrauded?
Yes, I would agree.
Yep. Would you also agree that calling somebody racist is a serious accusation?
If they are racist, I think it's probably
I'm asking
accurate.
you, is that a serious accusation to make about somebody?
I think it's just an observation of reality.
All right, well, let's go there. Is it racist for a government official to identify fraud?
No.
No. Is it Islamophobic?
To identify fraud?
To identify fraud?
No, I don't believe it would be.
How come multiple whistleblowers have said that your administration told them not to say anything about widespread fraud across multiple agencies because doing so would be considered racist or Islamophobic?
Wow.
I can't speak to it because it's not anything I would say.
Well, that's what your administration has said and has told whistleblowers, and as you just testified, the buck stops with you. That's what you stated in your statement whenever you announced you weren't running again. Are you familiar with Faye Bernstein?
Yes, I'm familiar with the name.
She's a Democrat, isn't she?
I wouldn't know that.
She stated publicly that she's a Democrat. She's only voted Democrat in her life. She's also stated publicly that she was retaliated against and called racist, and that her work responsibilities were diminished whenever she was highlighting fraud within your administration. Are you familiar with that?
I couldn't speak to specific allegations.
Why do you think she would say that?
I can't speak for what she
You have no idea?
I do not.
You would agree that the tone in your administration comes from you ultimately, right?
Right, from the top, obviously.
The tone is that.
The tone of how you might deal with whistleblowers.
Right, and we protect them.
Wait, it doesn't sound like you're protecting them. We heard from Representative Kristen Robbins, quote, "We have dozens of credible whistleblower reports saying the exact same thing, that people were told not to say anything because they'd be called racist or Islamophobic or it would hurt the state." Do you think it's racist or Islamophobic to highlight and try to stop fraud?
It is not, and I certainly wouldn't
It's
know.
not, but that was the message your administration was sending to multiple whistleblowers.
I can't speak to that.
You can't speak to that. You don't want to speak to that, I think.
That's what it is right
I have
there.
over
Should
40,000
whistleblowers be
employees,
retaliated
Congressman.
against?
Pardon me?
Do you think whistleblowers should be retaliated against?
Absolutely not. They have strong protections in Minnesota and lots of paths. And the paths go for the
That's not
OLA.
what we're hearing from whistleblowers. Faye Bernstein, who, again, has stated that she is a Democrat, she's only ever voted Democrat, says
That
that
doesn't
she was
matter whether
subjected
she's
to, quote,
Democrat or
a
Republican.
smear
It matters a lot,
campaign for trying to make leadership aware of illegal contracting practices. Why do you think that happened?
Hold on, guys.
I can't speak to that, Congressman, because we don't do it.
You just don't. You don't know anything.
I do know that we don't. We have strong whistleblower protections, and I can't speak.
That's not what the whistleblowers are saying. According to another report, quote, "There's just a continuous effort to stifle you, to shut you up, and it's impossible to overcome." Your administration's response to whistleblowers has also been described as, quote, "nearly unbearable retaliation." We've heard claims that, quote, "they've been denied vacations, promotions, and that it's hurt people's careers to speak out against fraud. Do you think that that had something to do with the prevalence of fraud in your administration?
I can't speak to it, but it
Are you
doesn't
going to take
happen.
responsibility for this?
I supervise 40,000 employees. State agencies
You
have their own.
supervise a lot of employees, and as you have said, the buck stops with you. And your administration has treated whistleblowers like absolute dirt, and that's a big reason why we've seen so much of our hard-earned tax dollars defrauded.
Completely wasted, guys.
Look, Congressman, I told you we have strong protections. We have an office of
This committee has
legislative
spoken
auditor,
to nearly 30 whistleblowers,
and they
most of
came
which
to
are
the
current employees in your administration who have intimate knowledge of what's been going on, who have all stated that they've faced retaliation for calling out fraud.
I can't speak to them what they felt.
My time is up. I yield back.
I just wanted to make sure that I heard every single aspect of this here, guys. But I will say, though, for the first time here, Tim Walz seemed to actually have answered a couple of questions kind of regarding this whole Minnesota fraud issue that we've been experiencing for the last, year and a half here, guys. But the idea that in some locales, autism multiplied by 500% is 500 times is wild. Like, how do you justify this? That in itself should have been something that you went at immediately to try to rectify, like, maybe we're wasting money here. Maybe there's some fraud happening here. I get it. Tim Walz did the bare minimum here by saying, we're going to go ahead and try to see where this is going. We're going to do some home checks, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. But you allowed it to go on for entirely too long here. That should have been something you kind of picked up on immediately. I would give it about a quarter. Okay. 90 days. If you start to realize that the numbers are quadrupling and tripling in terms of spending in some specific area, that should have been caught within 1 quarter. But if we're letting it go for multiple years, and that means that you, for the most part, are complicit or completely ignorant of what's actually happening in some of these programs that are utilizing federal tax dollars. Now, let's go ahead and get into the idea of the whistleblowers here. The reason why Gill keeps bringing up the idea of Democrat whistleblowers is that he's basically saying here, listen, this woman is a Democrat, so you can't say that she has some deeply baked bias in the scenario here, because she's coming from a point where she agrees with your overall ideology, votes alongside of you, and is saying blatantly to your face, there's something weird happening in Minnesota and you're doing nothing about it here. And of course, she would by default be the target here. You cannot say this here. So think about how we've seen kind of Democrats and the overall left coming from the United States of America kind of functioning when people that they perceive that they own have decided to go against the grain here. They immediately are targeted here. Like, look at the people who are on the left and left to left. Specifically, if they're in public-facing careers here, guys. Do I believe that there could have been some type of backlash from some of the specifically Democrat-based or oriented whistleblowers? Absolutely. I think those were target number one here. I look at it the same as I look at, like, black Republicans, for example. The left loves you because you're black. But the moment you start espousing different ideology in some way here, out of nowhere, you're completely ostracized, right? You're considered the enemy. You're considered a bootlicker and all these other things. And I'm just like, dudes, does everyone have to be a monolith here, right? Is there one specific mentality that because of the color of your skin or your overall gender that you need to basically maintain, or else here? Let me know. I do believe that if there were Democrat whistleblowers, those are probably the ones you paid more attention to. I'm going to be completely honest here. Because the right-leaning Republican whistleblowers already were looking at it like, bro, this is crazy. Okay? While the Democrats were going in there like bright eyes and, sunshine and stuff like that, like, no, that's not happening. How dare that's not a thing. I can't say anything because it makes everyone look bad. Bro, is it happening or not? Okay, so for a Democrat to come out and say, there's a lot of fraudulent activity happening in Minnesota here, okay, I think their opinion matters a little bit more, truthfully. And I think, and Brandon Gill knows that exactly. If you want to end the argument, bring someone from their side saying all the craziness that you're saying, that you've been saying the whole time, okay? That's it. But either way, listen, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day thoroughly. If you guys are new here, please like and subscribe. But in the meantime, guys, I'll go ahead and catch you guys later.